Welcome to the world of Jones Knows. You spend thousands of dollars on new flooring, whether it's vinyl, wood, or laminate, and you want it to look its best. I'm going to show you 7 ways to improve your flooring today on Jones Knows.
It's so beautiful, you and me, we meant to be.
Hi, my name is Tim. I'm a flooring and stair contractor, and helping me in the videos as usual are my sons Tristan and Hunter. So everybody wants their floor to look their best. You're spending thousands of dollars on it after all, and it's the finishing touches, the small details that people tend to notice the most. So today I'm going to show you what I do on my job sites to set myself apart from everyone else that installs flooring, all the other contractors. And today I want to help you take your installation to another level. I have 7 simple and easy ways to improve your flooring. So without any further ado, let's hit it. Quarter round versus base, and this is a question I get asked all the time by my clients. As you see the quarter round here we're putting in, that's the quickest and easiest solution, but is it the best? Tell me what you think. This is a 3-inch base. You had the quarter round up to it, now you only have 1.5 inches, 2 inches of base left. On a larger base like this with the quarter round, it doesn't look too bad. As you can see, there's a lot of base left over still, and it works, but look at that. Look how clean that looks without the quarter round. In my opinion, you really can't compete with that clean look. The furniture goes tight to the wall. That's my favorite look. Quarter round, where it buries your base and you hardly have any base left to show, or this nice clean look of a beautiful 5¼ inch or bigger baseboard. Let me know what you think. Drop some comments below. I think when you finish a floor off with a nice base, it's a clean look without the quarter round. Sometimes you have no choice, you have to do quarter round, but it at least needs to be a larger profile base if you're going to do quarter round. Later on in the video, we're going to show you some alternatives to that standard quarter round look, so stay tuned. But when you're upgrading your new floor, in my opinion, it's important to do a beautiful base and try to avoid using quarter round when at all possible. Wait, cut, stop. So I want to first explain something about the difference between baseboard and quarter round and when you do it. So a lot of my customers think that I can just go ahead and install quarter round now, and then in a few months or a year from now I'll do the baseboards, the new baseboards. But it doesn't quite work like that. If you do quarter round today, even if you upgrade your baseboards a year from now, a week from now, 6 months from now, it doesn't matter because you've already left too much space. And let me explain what I'm talking about. When we have a baseboard and quarter round, the floor is going to get installed up to the baseboard. So now we put the quarter round. So now that means I have basically 1.5 inches right there between these two. No baseboard is going to cover 1.5 inches. So when I go and take this quarter round off to put new baseboard in, I have too much space. So that's why you have to do baseboards when you do the floor if you only want to have baseboards and you don't want to have the additional quarter round. It's really important to understand that. You'll leave too much space. So I hope that makes it a little bit easier to understand. Let's get back to the video. Just say no to ugly thresholds. If there's one thing that cheapens and ruins an installation, in my opinion, it's ugly thresholds. Look how big that is. Sometimes they don't even match, like in the picture here. Look at that. That's huge. Imagine that finishing off your floor in front of doors. Why not use these little silver caps? Use nothing. But if you have to use something, small, big, what do you think looks better? Doesn't that look high end? It's small. You're not going to trip on it. That looks amazing. To me, when I can use something clean and small compared to something big like that, I go with it all the time. And they're super easy to put in. It's a little demonstration of how we install them. Very easy. You can cut them on your chop saw. You can put a metal blade in if you want. Some people put their wood blade in backwards. But it's just a matter of cutting them, putting a little construction adhesive or silicone under them. Sometimes I'll use it in conjunction with hot glue as well. But you just glue them in place. Put a couple pieces of tape to hold it while the glue dries. Voila, you're done. Your floor looks like $1 million. To me, that makes such a difference more so than anything else in doorways. People trip on those big, tacky, ugly moldings. I try not to ever use them, and that's why my customers love me. I try to set myself apart from everyone else. Most installers use those regular moldings because they're easy to use and they're convenient, but not me. I like to take it to another level. As you can see here, they make a huge difference. If you want to see a little bit more about these silver moldings, I have a whole video just devoted to them, and everybody has asked me where to get them, so I'll put a link in the description below for them. Flexible trim. Take a look at this wall here. Somebody cut this piece of baseboard into 45 pieces. Doesn't it look better with one piece that bends? Whether other contractors don't know they exist or just are too lazy to order, these are the way that I do curved walls in baseboard and quarter round. I also use them around islands, vanities, you name it, anything that's got a curve in it. This is the way to finish off your floor to make it look right. So everybody has a front door and a garage door. Guess what they also have? A beat up old threshold. So why keep it when you're putting in a new floor? $10, $20 and you can buy a brand new one that's nice and shiny. Wouldn't you want to walk onto your new floor from the outside and the first thing you see is going to be an old threshold? Wouldn't you want to improve it and switch it out? So why not do it? I do it on all my jobs. I think it's one of the first things you see when you come into the house, and it makes a big difference. So switching a molding out on your front and garage door is really easy, and there's not much to it. The one thing you want to make sure though is that you get the exact same kind of molding, and there's only about 2 different ones to pick from. You have the one like here where the door bumps into it, and you have that rubber strip here that keeps air from getting out, and then you'll have one where the door actually sits above the molding. Cutting them is really easy. You just use your chop saw just like the way you cut your silver caps. Really simple, and when you're spending thousands of dollars on a new floor, something that you should consider doing, especially when it costs about $10 to $15. So as you've seen earlier in the video, I hate quarter round. You've probably seen that also if you've seen some of my videos. I'm not a big fan of quarter round, and I try not to use it whenever possible. But if you have to use quarter round, there are some alternatives to this traditional quarter round, this big bulky quarter round that everyone does. You can use Doorstop right here, a smaller style quarter round, custom cuts like this. I'll actually make triangular pieces out of wood sometimes to use as quarter round. These little pieces of quarter round, I actually made this here to go on a stair landing because the floor was coming up too high and the quarter round would have stuck over the edge. So there's always an option if you think outside the box. Let's look at some examples of the doorstop on the job we just did. I used this around the island because I didn't want to put that gaudy quarter round on a brand new kitchen island. Now let me show you the difference in size wise and why I'm not a big fan of the regular quarter round. When you have your baseboard and you see the side profile, you see how far that quarter round actually sticks out. That quarter round sticks out almost another inch. But if you go with our quarter round alternative here, it's literally half the thickness. And that makes a huge difference. Furniture's not going to stick out as far, and it really dresses it up quite a bit. This actually has a little style to it. This looks like an accentuation of the baseboard when you get done painting it and caulking it in. The idea is it'll just look like a fancier piece of baseboard. This, no matter what you do, it's going to look like a bulge sticking out from the bottom of the baseboard. If you have a small baseboard, you want to try to use a smaller, let's imagine this was a little baseboard and you're only going to see this much of it. You see how a little quarter round would make a lot more sense than that giant quarter round? So there's plenty of options when you go to the lumber stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, and the lumber yards. Just take a look around. You'll be surprised how many choices there are for trim or pieces that you can use as trim if you're creative. So a big pet peeve of mine is kitchen cabinets. Sometimes I'll put floors around brand new cabinets, and one of my clients might have spent 30, 40, 50, 100,000 on a brand new kitchen, and then they didn't think about the flooring that they're going to put around it. So now we have to put cord around. No, not on my job, not on my watch, it's not gonna happen. If the job is coordinated properly with your cabinet guy, if you're putting a new kitchen in, have them leave your toe kicks off, then you install your flooring, and then you install the toe kick over it. Now, if I'm coming into a house where the kitchen's 10, 20 years old and the toe kick's mounted on, I can't get it off, and it's a common color like a white or a stained color that I can match, I'll put the floor up to the toe kick, leave my 1/4 inch or whatever space I need to leave, and then I'll just put a new toe kick over the old toe kick, and then I don't need to use quarter round. That makes a huge difference. It's a cleaner look. Anytime I don't have to use quarter round, if you know me by now, I won't use it. Now here in this job that we just did, you see here on the side of the cabinets, we had to go ahead with this doorstop, which came out pretty good because we matched it to the color of the cabinet. We had that paint, so it came out really nice. On the back side of this island here though, the cabinet guy left those high enough off the ground that our Nucore performance flooring fit right under it. So on 2 sides of this cabinet, we have no trim. On the sides, 2-foot sides, we have our doorstop. So it came out, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. That's a pretty good installation. The only place in the whole kitchen are 2 sides. Everywhere else we put toe kick over it. That works for me. In a perfect world, I would have had those 2 little sides, but hey, you can't get everything you ask for. I'm pretty happy with this one. So always think ahead and plan ahead, especially if you're coordinating cabinets, flooring. Let your 2 installers talk to each other, and I bet they come out with a good game plan. If not, you play the quarterback and help them put the installation together so it goes smooth. So finishing touches on these floors can be so important. I'm talking about little detail stuff. Maybe a hole in the floor, maybe it's a open joint, maybe it's in front of a bathroom door and you got a gap. Color, caulking, and fillers are what I use. We'll start out by talking about the natural wood filler. This filler goes in with no color at all, and you can stain it to match your floor. This is great for little spots that you just can't get a piece of flooring into, and you don't want dirt maybe getting caught up in it, or any little holes along door jambs that maybe you missed a cut. You can use this filler here, and then you can get a stain to match your floor. Now, if you have a pretty common color floor, you may be able just to get a little MINWAX filler like this one here, and they already come colored, and they probably have a gazillion colors, 30, 40 colors to pick from. If you have a longer strip, maybe along some tile that you cut the floor pretty close, but there's a little gap there, or maybe you want to seal in front of an air conditioning vent or in front of a back door or front door, siliconized caulkings. DAP makes probably 10 different colors, from almond to brown to my favorite cedar tan. I use these for bigger areas that you want to fill in a hurry and to make it waterproof. Now, if you can't find a color that matches your floor, look in the grout section. Yep, the grout section. I know it's a vinyl or a wood floor you possibly are doing, but they make a siliconized grout. Comes in a tube just like this. Make sure you get the siliconized one, not the sanded one. And they come in every color that you can get grout in. So say you're doing around a fireplace and you have brick with grout around the bricks, you can get that same color grout that they used on the bricks to seal around the fireplace, so it'll be a perfect match. I like to use these in front of bathroom doors, exterior doors, anywhere that I want to seal and make something look good where I'm mating up to tile. Now, if you don't have a color that matches your floor and you want to put something in there anyways, try clear. Believe it or not, clear works way better than white when you're trying to blend in, especially with light color floors, and it's going to make it water impenetrable. So that means that if you're sealing a back door or front door, water is not going to get in and under your floor, which is really important. I use this along the front doors. When I put those new moldings in, I'll seal on both sides of that with the silicone so water doesn't get under my floor. I also use this at back doors, and I'll use these around toilets as well. Now, speaking of toilets, if you're putting your floor under a toilet, you always want a silicone around the bottom of that toilet because toilets leak sometimes, and you're going to want to use the siliconized caulking to seal it to the floor. So if you want to see a little bit more about fillers and caulkings, I even have a video that shows how to make your own color filler out of nothing more than sawdust, so you might want to check it out. I'll put the link above. I'm also going to put the product links to some fillers that I use in the description below. Wow, so I hope you found that useful and informative. What I hope everybody takes from this video is that it's the small details that make all the difference in the world. I can do a new floor for one of my clients and they come home and I did the floor and the baseboards, and they'll get more excited about the baseboard sometimes than the $20,000 floor that they put in. The baseboards really finish off a job. The analogy that I use for all the time to explain it to my customers is, if you bought a beautiful piece of artwork, you're not going to put an ugly frame around it. And baseboards are your picture frame around your piece of artwork. So the little details are what people really notice. Stuff like door moldings, when you come into the house, first thing you step on. You walk out your slider, you walk over that giant molding, or you walk over that small piece of trim. Or if you spend $50,000 on a kitchen, do you want to finish it off with quarter round and make it look like an afterthought? It's sometimes planning jobs out and thinking one step ahead. If you have a good flooring professional, they should point this out, but unfortunately I don't see a lot of people mentioning this to my customers, and a lot of times that's why they go with me for the installations, is because I point out details that no one else points out. So that's what I'm trying to do on the channel here, is explain little things that you can do on your installation, and whether or not you're installing it yourself or having it installed, point these things out to your installer, and then it can make your floor look a little bit better than everybody else's. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Be sure to check out some of our other content. We have lots of great videos on how to install flooring, from laminate to wood and stairs. Plus we do product reviews. I review laminate, vinyl, wood. I put laminate up against vinyl. I run them over, I dunk them. I do whatever it takes to find out which of these floors are best for you. If you haven't subscribed yet, I want you to take out your favorite flooring mallet, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. Thanks for tuning in.